Now, a San Jose mom says that she's saddened that a former neighbor is now suing her because her child is on the autism spectrum.
The mom says she even moved out of the home she was renting with her parents to avoid conflict, but the lawsuit came anyway, asking for a court to declare the child a nuisance.
Hey special family, welcome back to another video. If you're new here, hi, I'm Autism Mom, and on this channel we talk about autism and everything in between. Today I have a very disturbing video, so let's take a look at this fair use reaction video.
We're beginning tonight in the South Bay. Now, a San Jose mom says that she's saddened that a former neighbor is now suing her because her child is on the autism spectrum.
The mom says she even moved out of the home she was renting with her parents to avoid conflict, but the lawsuit came anyway, asking for a court to declare the child a nuisance. Here's our Damian Trujillo with a story you'll only see on NBC Bay Area.
He looks like a normal 12-year-old with a childlike smile.
But he's a happy, loving, innocent little boy who just cares about his McDonald's.
Ezekiel, known as Zeke, suffers from what's referred to as level 3 autism, a severe form of the disorder.
My son can't speak, so he's only able to produce sounds, and it's called vocal stimming.
The family used to live in this West San Jose home with Zeke's grandparents, but Serena says she had to move her son out because her next-door neighbor complained about the noise coming from the backyard. She says it was Zeke's grunting, the only vocal sound he's able to produce. The family now only returns to the home to visit Zeke's grandparents, and now they've been hit with this lawsuit. In it, a neighbor is suing the family and the landlord, claiming the child should be considered a nuisance and should not be allowed around the home again. Zeke's mother has now countersued, saying at one point the neighbor called the grunts disgusting.
It was deeply offensive. I think that the issue is the level of understanding for this form of autism.
The neighbor's lawyer told me the complaint speaks for itself. The lawsuit also says there are frequent loud parties at the home with amplified music. A separate neighbor told me off camera she has to close her door when Zeke is playing in the backyard because of the noises. Serena's lawyer says the neighbor's suit also asks for monetary damages for the loss of use and enjoyment of their property.
Since COVID, we've seen a lot more what I would call crazy lawsuits, mean-spirited lawsuits.
The countersuit claims Zeke's family has suffered emotional distress and is asking for the harassment to stop.
It was deeply, deeply hurtful, especially because my son can't defend himself because he's innocent-minded. But that's why I'm doing this, is because I'm defending him and I'm his voice.
Serena studied the effects of autism. She even wrote a children's book in 2 languages so children can be more understanding and accepting of a child on the spectrum. But now she says she's confident it might be a good read for some adults as well.
Let me tell you this from the beginning. There are 2 videos in this video. One is a mom being sued for her child making grunting noises in the backyard. The other one is a mom being sued for her child having autism, running around the street, hurting kids in the street. It bothers me. It bothers me a lot because that is one of my biggest fears, that somebody will get annoyed with the sounds that my son makes. But never one day did I think that it will go to the point where somebody would actually sue you because your nonverbal son makes noises. He can't speak. That's the way he communicates. And isn't it odd, or isn't it crazy that the mom wrote a book on autism acceptance, and then look at this. She should have gave a copy to that neighbor, because how do you sue a child for making grunting noises? I mean, that's the way he plays. That's the way he is. He's not coming to your yard to do it. He's not running around the street to do it. What is your problem? And who is your lawyer? You actually found a lawyer that wants to take this case to go sue a parent for her child making grunting noises. Not because they threw stuff in your yard, ran up on you, hit you, came at your door, for making grunting noises in the backyard. Yeah, I know the judge. Everybody gonna be looking at you crazy. Imagine that you can't speak, you can't express yourself, and that's the only way you know how to verbalize stuff. What, should we call the cops on you for talking? This is crazy. Who's your lawyer? Who actually took this case? And what's wrong with you? I'm taking you to the comment section because I can see this having a validation if the child was running in your yard, doing stuff, running up to you, hitting you, running around the street, throwing trash somewhere. They're playing in their backyard. The mother even went so far as to move out to help you from the noises that are bothering you so much, and you sued her for her child having autism and making grunting noises. You and your lawyer need to be looked at. But let's go to the comment section and see what the commenters have to say. And first commenter says, people say kids are on the internet too much and need to go outside and play. Then the kid plays outside and it's called a nuisance. Miserable people. I agree. He's playing in his backyard. He's not playing in the middle of the night. He's playing during the hours where normal people do stuff and are outside. Now he's a nuisance. Next commenter says, I hope that neighbor ends up only being able to make grunts to experience the same kind of frustration Zeke does every day. That would be a wonderful punishment. How about we tape your mouth shut? You can't say a word for the rest of your life and all you could make is grunts. See how you like them apples. Next commenter says, so like everyone should buy her book, yes? And then the creator responded, I think she deserves to be sold out. That was the reason for her writing a book, so people can understand autism and accept people with autism. Apparently she should have threw a copy at the neighbor's door so she can understand what autism is. Lost her mind. Next commenter says, I hope TikTok does its thing and the neighbors get exactly what they deserve. Now y'all know, I don't know how many of y'all are on TikTok, but you mess around with somebody, they will find you and expose your whole business out there. Next commenter said, we write at dawn. Let's utilize our voice and let's pick it around the area on the importance of inclusion and understanding. No rioting and no property damage, just picket and raise our voices. Child, that's ooh. Next commenter says, excuse me, neighbors like this are the same people who wanted women and those with Down syndrome put in psych wards back in the day. This is just not okay. Exactly. So you're allowed to walk the street and be free and do you, but our kids with autism, we need to hide them in the corner so you can't hear them, you can't see them, and they're not a nuisance to you. Stupid. Next commenter, if he is outside at 3 a.m., I might have some understanding. Exactly. This is the hot day. But it's a kid during day hours. I'm sorry, they moved. I would have bought Zeke a mic and an amplifier, Lord. Now you would have went to jail for real. Next commenter said, as a mom of a child with ASD, we write at dawn. Let me know when I gotta go to Cali. Oh, they gonna mess the street up, Lord Jesus. Somebody else commented, I hope a judge laughs at this neighbor's face. Hang in there, mama. Really, because your lawyer commented the case is self-explanatory, but you're suing a child for making grunting noises? What? That's like suing a dog for barking. So I showed you that video. I wanted to show you the difference between suing a parent for not controlling their autistic child and suing a parent for a child having autism. It's two different things. Now look at this video and then we'll come back.
The case now of a little boy with autism whose parents are being sued by neighbors who say the boy is a public nuisance. Complaining his bad behavior includes kicking and biting. ABC's Lindsay Davis here with the story. Good morning, Lindsay.
Good morning, George. The two couples who filed this lawsuit say this case is not about autism. They say it's about repeated assaults on neighborhood children and that child's parents not doing anything to stop it. So much for Love Thy Neighbor. This California cul-de-sac is embroiled in a civil lawsuit aimed at having a neighborhood boy with autism declared a public nuisance.
For us, this case is not really about autism. It's about the safety of our children. They were attacked on multiple occasions.
The two San Jose area families say they don't blame the now 11-year-old boy. They claim the problem is his parents, who they say didn't do enough to control their son.
They have been slapped, hit, kicked, basically terrorized.
My son on his 4th birthday was riding his bike and the child threw him to the ground, grabbed with both hands his hair and shook him violently.
The plaintiffs are seeking unspecified damages for the boy's alleged behavior, as well as an injunction requiring his parents to prevent future occurrences of the same. And while no police reports support these claims, they also believe their property values could be affected if they ever decide to sell their homes.
When there's unchecked violence in a neighborhood, it's something that we have to disclose when we either sell or rent our home.
The family at the center of this suit is no longer living in the house, releasing a statement to ABC News overnight saying, "We are very disappointed by the non-factual and deeply manipulative falsehoods that have been spread, which we feel amounts to a modern-day witch hunt against a small disabled child and his family." Autism advocates worry this could set a disturbing precedent for families of children with autism.
I would hope that the court doesn't rule against the family, because that just creates another barrier, and that is not the solution.
The two families say they filed the lawsuit as a last resort and won't drop the suit because the parents still own the home and could move back at any time. They also claim the parents never apologized or took responsibility for the attacks. They say this lawsuit is an attempt to keep other children safe in the future. George.
Okay, Lindsay, thanks. Let's talk to Dan Abrams about this right now. So the families bringing the suit say it's not about autism, but what role does the disability play in the defense?
Well, it's going to be the defense, right? It's going to be that we have a child who has a disability. There haven't been major injuries here, so in effect, why are we here? But that's not the end of the inquiry. Meaning you can't just say, oh, I have a disabled child, and then therefore whatever he does shouldn't mean that there are legal consequences. Because in the end, if this child is assaulting other children, the question becomes parental supervision. This isn't a lawsuit against the child. It's a lawsuit against the parents, saying that the parents didn't properly supervise a child who had particular needs for supervision.
So does the fact that the family has now moved out of the neighborhood, does that end the harm?
Well, look, if they had moved and sold the house, I would say that should end this case, right? We got to be able to figure out a way to say, let's put this behind us. The family's left. What the neighbors are saying is, well, maybe they've moved out, but they still own the home and may move back in. So this is one of these cases where you'd hope that they could resolve the differences and say, look, either sell the house, or we'll make a deal, or properly supervise, etc. The damages become less. And what you heard in the piece there, them talking about the
property values.
The property values. It's like, come on. I mean, that's not one of the stronger arguments that they have. We have to disclose in every case. Please stop it. Let's focus on what the real issues here, which is protecting the other children in the neighborhood, which I think those neighbors have a right to do.
This one could have been settled.
Yeah, well, it could have been or should be settled in the future.
Okay, Dan Abrams, thanks very much.
So you've seen the video. Now, in this case, I say that the neighbors have the right to sue the parent. They're not suing the child for having autism. They're suing the parent for not controlling the child. Because even though your child had autism, doesn't mean you stop parenting the child. The child needs to still understand that there are consequences for things. Because you're not always going to be around. And then when you don't control them or you don't train them to a certain degree, you want to leave them for the society and say, oh, they're not doing a good job. But it should have started from the basis. Even kids who are with autism need discipline. This child just went around bullying and attacking people on the street. That's a whole different case. So I played both videos so you can see the difference, that the parent is being sued for a reason. The child can't go around hitting other kids. That's not okay, autism or not. The kids in the street don't need to be a punching bag for you. But in the first case, the child is in his own backyard making grunting noises that bothers you because that's the way he speaks, and that's the way he makes himself known or communicates or, plays. And that's a nuisance to you. So I just wanted to make the distinction between the two stories to show. In one case, they're suing for grunting noises, which is normal. That's the way of communication. And in the other case, they're suing the parent because the child was walking around abusing all the kids on the street. There's a difference. Let's go to the comment section of that video and see what they had to say. So the first commenter says, as soon as a parent gets a diagnosis, they use it as a crutch not to correct behaviors anymore. And that's not always true, because their parent who have kids with autism, and diagnosis or not, there are structures and rules that need to be followed. So that doesn't go for every parent. Next commenter said, sorry you have a child with autism, but your neighbors have a right to have their kids to be safe. It is your responsibility to watch him. And you are absolutely correct. Autism or not, the child's safety is your responsibility as a parent. Next commenter said, autism is no excuse for attacking people. Take responsibility of your child behavior before he seriously hurts someone. I agree with you. Next commenter, how bad does it have to be for neighbors to band together to sue? I was thinking the same thing. It really probably got out of hand that all the neighbors came together and were like, you know what, we're gonna sue you because this is crazy. Next commenter, you have every right to feel safe in your own neighborhood and protect your children from harm, no matter the source. Totally agree. Next, so frustrating. You can't let your children be the neighborhood's punching bag. That kid's parents need to be parent. And you're so right, because if a kid was coming around hitting my kid every time, me and you would have serious problems. I don't care if your child had autism. Me and the parents would have a serious problem. Because it's not the kid's fault, it's the parent's fault. So, final commenter says, finally, a diagnosis doesn't mean you stop parenting a child. Diagnosis or not, kids with autism need structure and they need guidance just like every other kid. Let me know in the comment section below what you think of this video. I'm pretty disturbed by it, but let me know and I'll catch you in the next one.